Hello, Black Healing Matters family. This is Danielle here at the Black Healing Matters podcast, where we offer you ideas to hopefully move you one step closer to your healing. And I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. You know, Tuesday is the second day of the week, so hope your week is getting off to a good start. And you know, here every Tuesday, we like to dive deep into some rich African history because, of course, it is Know Thy History Tuesday. And yes, we do know African American history, but I think on this particular podcast, on these episodes, I like to get more into African history because for most of us, it's largely unknown. To most of the world, African history is largely unknown. We know about slavery, we know about the Underground Railroad and Jim Crow laws, but who were we before slavery? Before we showed up on slave ships, transported from Africa, who were we? What did we eat? What were our customs and traditions? What was our culture? You see, we had a culture. We had a way of living. Even if we were slaves, we had a culture. And we brought that culture with us in many parts. And it wasn't all destroyed. So today, on this episode of Know Thy History Tuesday, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the fundamental rights of the African people. And this comes out of the book. I've actually quoted this book before. It's a great book. The Destruction of Black Civilization. And this is by Chancellor Williams. So let's get into it. I'm highlighting these because I want you to see how Africans approached law and human rights. So if you haven't listened to the previous episodes on the fundamental principles of ancient African constitutional law, strongly recommend you go back and listen to those. But today we're going to be talking about human rights. Okay, and so all of this information, Chancellor Williams, he did decades of research, really, both in the States and in Africa, in Europe, all over the world, really. And this is what he compiled. He said, the following is a representative of a number of human rights, also drawn from customary laws or traditional constitutions. So he came across lots of different, of course, constitutions from the different groups, tribes, states, governments in Africa. And this is what he compiled as common between them. So, number one, every member of the community had, number one, the right to equal protection of the law. Number two, the right to a home. Number three, the right to land sufficient for earning livelihood for oneself and family. So let's pause there for a second. Every person had the right to land, enough land to feed his family. Interesting. It's quite different. Quite different than what we experience in most countries in modern day. Number four, the right to aid in times of trouble. Number five, the right to petition for redress of grievances. Number six, the right to criticize and condemn any acts by the authorities or proposed new laws. So, this is some of the first democratic structure that we can see here just through these basic human rights. On to number 7, the right to reject the community's final decision on any matter and to withdraw from the community unmolested, the right to rebellion and withdrawal. Wow, that's interesting. Number 8, the right to fair trial. There must be no punishment greater than the offense or fines beyond ability to pay. This latter is determined by income and status of the individual and his family. Wow, that's really interesting. So you can see here that just from reading this particular right, of course, right to a fair trial, but it also adds that no punishment shall be greater than the offense, and no fine shall be greater than the ability to pay, which is really different than what we experience nowadays, right? They don't care if you can pay for it or not. If you can't pay your bail, too bad, right? If you can't pay any fines, your parking tickets, that's too bad. But according to this, that the any fees could not be more than one's ability to pay. As well, it says the latter is determined by income and the status not of just of the individual, but also his family. And so if you've committed a crime, it's a reflection on your entire family. Wow. Okay. 2 more. Number 9, the right to indemnity for injuries or loss caused by others, of course. And number 10, the right to family or community care in case of sickness or accidents. Which is kind of nice, isn't it? I mean, that's a human right. You have the right to family or community care in case you have a problem, you're sick and can't care for yourself. That's a right, a human right. And can you imagine how different our communities would be if that was a fundamental human right? So as we, listen to and read through these fundamental rights of African people, these are the ideas that our ancestors fostered in Africa before slavery about how human beings should be valued on this planet. And many of us, I believe, still carry these values with us. Whether or not they're incorporated into our government Bill of Rights is something different. But I believe many of us still harbor and still feel that these rights, these are fundamental rights of all people. And I think it is important to recognize our culture and that we may not be exactly the same, and that's okay. That's what culture is. It's like a footprint, right? But it's a footprint of a group. And that's a good thing, That's something to be appreciated. And I hope you get the warm and fuzzies as well as I do when I read this and think about how my ancestors came up with these ideas and how they lived together and the kind of communities that they strive to create together. To me, that's really exciting, and it makes me feel really nice. And I hope you feel that too. On that note, Black Healing Matters family, I love you. As always, by the way, before I close, don't forget to share these episodes. If you're getting value here, please do share this with anybody you feel could get value from it as well. Also, on the Facebook page, if you're not on the Facebook page, please go over to Facebook, type in Black Healing Matters, and you'll find us. Join the group, join the conversations. We have rich conversations over there every day. I add supplemental videos and stuff over there all the time. And it really is a vibrant community. As well, you can also find us on YouTube and SoundCloud. Now, on that note, Black Healing Matters family, I love you. And as always, stay blessed. Black Healing Matters.
podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.